in the midst of the rescue mission of the Greek and Roman islands, our enemies within the borders had begun to plotting against us. With landing spear and iron well, our forces had gathered near the Manhattan Bay to launch another assault towards the retreating Donald Trump forces, or whether Clinton forces, whether Bill Clinton's wife or ex-wife's forces, who, whether a recent gesture or whether remarked optional. Together we had bought approximately 64 warships and 289 battle cruisers or airplanes, whether warplanes, and we'll begin this fight 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is approximately 11 p.m. London time. The targets that will be hit include compounds near oil refinery centers and oil depositories. We'd like to advise those to retreat and do not engage in sabotage, otherwise the consequences will be less with limits and whether, with minor rather, and whether minor instead, and whether before, and whether further of be more consequential, whether the more decimation towards. Terror knows no bounds. It also doesn't understand the phrase of knows no bounds. It seeks. It does say terror knows. The righteous forces may not be always the ones on the upper hand, otherwise there wouldn't be this fighting. It would be one-sidedness and much of more left instead of this actually struggle. Hitler was right. He titled the book Mere Kämpfe. You struggle. It's not really a victor's march. We've been labeled, not necessarily villainized, but we've been tagged with the dominator traits. So sometimes when I speak, therefore I'm smartest, and therefore without much checking now and whether transfer, whether of little format, I'm probably the most powerful, but we're probably just mere talented. Somehow because we're mere talented at the social and norm level, therefore we're indestructible. We're indestructible. Then what happened to what happened to Saddam and Gaddafi? What happened to Saddam, Gaddafi, a lot of others? They're indestructible. They were easily destroyed in a way. They were easily destroyed. Doesn't require war. The weakest is actually the talented. The weak, the righteous is actually really weak. We pay hecton and whether a lot of and considerable hecton, since it really results in certain whether it's a result in certain matters, and whether it's a big factor, and whether mattering of certain results of ordeals, and whether disarm events and whether events, and whether events and ordeals and whether disarm events, or whether ordeals, events, and whether disarm events. We pay a considerable amount in family upkeeps, friendships and upkeep, and whether social upkeeps. And the evils don't pay. Evils with a quota. Suppose it was evil, it wouldn't be this much problem. Nazism is being fought against by the coalition of the righteous parties and the sovereign forces. I may be a ambassador, and probable ambassador usually incorporates the title representative of both. In this fight, the value of unity becomes smudged. The heroes who've been called to have mostly made through, and whether have mostly came triumphant on this glorious path of vanquishing against Nazism. This global, probably suitable for global cancerist, and whether terrorism, whether global terrorism regime. Recently, whether end global terrorism, whether end. The probable. The alternate pronunciation may not be that speaking. None other than sort of this ruthlessness from justice would resolve the problem with these non-reasonable entities, or rather entities that's maybe more of on the magnitude of this, whether describes more on par with the magnitude of these hideous of the probable with mark hideousness. Thus, as may cure patients, plumber may solve home renovation problems, teachers changes lives, entrepreneurs improves society, and military weapons dissolves cancer en masse. Reason can be something probably more suitable amongst friends, right? Amongst someone who is acceptable for whether someone is foreign, not someone who's or some entity that's repulsive. Suppose it has some reasonable, then it's already within the community, and it's probably not so repulsive. And in those contexts, the word repulsive sort of denotates it probably doesn't have the trait of being reasonable. I am whether you will be doing a lot of these at this performance level, supposed to give people more than there. It's almost direct correlation to days that probably not is not really due to on choice, or and usually if earlier did, then probably not so much. But throughout the day, probably not so much. Not of this performance level, namely of whether minor repeater to probable. Directly correlates with the amount of enfeeblements the banshees give. And yeah, thus probably suitable, and thus of represents the mentioning banshee without mark can be providence, and whether also providence serves also to probable. It's not easy task complete getting onto here and be able to mention. A lot of the candidates can't steal the lines, don't have access to keyboard. How will they express? How will they? They can express. It's just that this express is not accepted. It's a blabber. And he does such a force of mockery towards a relentless brutalist that's not mediocre. It's a number-based enemy. If that number-based, each has a person, it has a vehicle, and that's too rich. We should remove the rich and help the poor. And they also, the dominatorist, Hitler isn't here to dominate. Hitler is here to defend, represents the innocent. He does this all day, every day. And yet is labeled by the Nazis that doesn't appreciate its welfare. Whether which mark its welfare, and doesn't so recent move, then probably not, because the display and whether recorded have those differences. Minor remark, whether recent whether minor remark reason to be considered, and label, and whether Nazism label, and whether cancerous relentless, whether cancerous, whether cancerous label as denominator for simply being talented and probably skillful in certain areas, which rather are not attacking, are not offensive methods, and are merely simply and mostly associated with some characteristics probably to be of whether and then suitable of humble rumble. By the reason regard and by the regard to as rhetoric question, and whether rhetorics and whether rhetoric, to talk about whether completing that rhetoric and whether which is at the location of rhetorics and whether complete that rhetoric is to probable either to be and whether to probable to be of.